The following are the conclusions. The state of Jammu and Kashmir does not retain any element of sovereignty after the execution of the instrument of accession and the issuance of the proclamation dated 25 November 1949, by which the Constitution of India was adopted. The state of Jammu and Kashmir does not have internal sovereignty, which is distinguishable from the powers and privileges enjoyed by other states in the country. Article 370 was a feature of asymmetric federalism and not sovereignty. The petitioners did not challenge the issuance of the proclamations under Section 92 of the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution and Article 356 of the Indian Constitution until the special status of Jammu and Kashmir was abrogated. The exercise of power by the President after the proclamation under Article 356 is issued is subject to judicial review. The person challenging the exercise of power must prima facie establish that it is a mala fide or extraneous exercise of power. Once a prima facie case is made, the onus shifts to the Union to justify the exercise of such power. The power of Parliament under Article 356 1b to exercise the powers of the legislature of the state cannot be restricted to lawmaking power, thereby excluding non-lawmaking power of the legislature of the state. It can be garnered from the historical context for the inclusion of Article 370 and the placement of Article 370 in Part 21 of the Constitution that it is a temporary provision. The power under Article 370, Clause 3 did not cease to exist upon the dissolution of the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir. It did not affect the power held by the President under Article 370, Clause 3. Article 370 cannot be amended by exercise of power under Article 370 1d. The exercise of power by the President under Article 370 1d to issue CO 272 is not mala fide. The President, in exercise of power under Article 370, Clause 3, can unilaterally issue a notification that Article 370 ceases to exist. The Solicitor General stated that the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir will be restored, except for the carving out of the Union Territory of Ladakh. We uphold the validity of the decision to carve out the Union Territory of Ladakh. We direct that steps shall be taken by the Election Commission of India to conduct elections to the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, constituted under Section 14 of the Reorganization Act by 30 September 2024. Restoration of statehood shall take place at the earliest and as soon as possible.
The Valley of Kashmir carries a historical burden. It has a social context. Thus, in involving constitutional status of the region, it is difficult to segregate the aforesaid. We, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, are at the heart of the debate. They have carried the burden of victims of conflict for several decades, originating from 1947 with the invasion of the valley. Intervening political circumstances did not permit a redressal to the fullest extent of the invasion. The consequences remain in terms of parts of Kashmir being occupied by other countries. The second round of insurgency holds its origin to the latter part of 1980s. There were troubled situation at the ground level, which was apparently not redressed. It culminated in the migration of one part of the population of the state in 1989-90. It is something that our country has had to live with, and without any redressal for the people who had to leave their homes and hearth. It was not a voluntary migration. The situation became so aggravated that the very integrity and sovereignty of our country was endangered, and the army had to be called in. Armies are meant to fight battles with enemies of the state and not really to control the law and order situation within the state. But then these were peculiar times. The entry of the army created its own ground realities in their endeavor to preserve the integrity of the state and the nation against foreign incursions. The men, women, and children of the state have paid a heavy price. In order to move forward, the wounds need healing. What is at stake is not simply preventing the recurrence of injustice, but the burden of restoring the region's social fabric to what it historically has been based: coexistence, tolerance, and mutual respect. It is worth noting that even the partition of India in 1947 did not impair Jammu and Kashmir communal and social harmony. In this context, Mahatma Gandhi is famously quoted to have said that Kashmir was a ray of hope for humanity. The first step towards this is to achieve a collective understanding of the human rights violations perpetuated both by state and non-state actors against the people of this region. There have been numerous reports documenting these incidents over the years. Yet, what is lacking is a commonly accepted narrative of what has happened, or in other words, a collective telling of the truth. I recommend the setting up of an impartial Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The Commission will investigate and report on the violation of human rights both by the state and non-state actors perpetrated in the Jammu and Kashmir at least since 1980s and recommend measures for reconciliation. The Commission should be set up expeditiously before memory escapes. The exercise should be time-bound. There is already an entire generation of youth that has grown up with a feeling of distrust, and it is to them that we owe the greatest day of reparation. At the same time, considering the significance of the matter and under sensitivities involved, it is my view that it is for the government to devise the manner in which it should be set up and to determine the best way forward for the Commission. As a word of caution, the Commission, once constituted, should not turn into a criminal court and must instead follow a humanized and a personalized process, enabling people to share what they have been through uninhibitedly. It should be based on a dialogue, allowing for different viewpoints and inputs from all sides. Needless to say, the Commission is only one of the many avenues towards the goal of systematic reforms. It is my sincere hope that much will be achieved when Kashmir opens their hearts to embracing the past and facilitating the people who were compelled to migrate to come back with dignity. Whatever has been, but the future is ours to see.